9:58 Central Time, Friday, January 31st, 2025, Merriam Single Hauler, public hearing in the upstairs training room. You go.
How are you?
Alright guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Good morning and happy Friday. Yes, that'd be great. I just want you to know this is a public meeting and it is being recorded, just FYI for everybody. We do have a couple residents in the room as well, obviously along with all of you. This is a mandatory meeting, so if you're not here, sorry. I guess you guys are the final, five? But otherwise, thank you guys for being here. My name is Caitlin Gard. I'm the Assistant City Administrator here at Merriam, and I'm kind of the staff liaison to this process. Please feel free to ask questions throughout this presentation. I'm sure hopefully this will not last an hour unless you guys just have super questions. I'm just going to be going over the RFP, the one addendum that was issued, and then really I'm just here to answer questions. Today is also the last day for me to clarify those questions for the RFP, so this is your opportunity. After that, you guys will do your thing, and then just let me know if you have any questions today, okay? Cool. So surely you all have seen the RFP, that's why you're here, that's how you know about this. But we issued the RFP on January 6th. Obviously today is the last day of January, also the last day to answer any questions. Your proposals are due on Valentine's Day, you're welcome. I wanted to make sure we didn't do that over the holidays, so I guess it's the little list of the holidays. Will you please sign and serve? From there on forward, this is the timeline that was outlined in the RFP. Once the proposals are due, hopefully, pending whatever comes in, we will consider a contract with the city council meeting in April. Per state statute, we do have 2 reviews of that ordinance, so it would be, again, tentative first review April 14th. The second review would be the second meeting in April. So then which contract would be executed. Again, based on contract negotiations, we would be hopeful for at least a January 1 start date. Again, that's going to be negotiated in the contract. We're going to go over some of the submittal requirements. This is probably where you're going to have most of your questions, but it's really just an outline of the RFP. You're going to be submitting section 5 of the RFP, which is going to include your information, if you're going to have any subs in their information, personnel of your staff and your members on your team. You're going to be required to give references, any additional information you want to provide. I believe that page is blank and you can literally just write whatever you want. You're going to do the base bid, which is what we're going to talk about here in a minute, and then there are also bid alternates that we want you to consider as well, and then there are some miscellaneous questions at the end that are optional to answer if you wish. We are not accepting hard copies. We're very environmentally friendly here in Merriam, so electronic copies only. Submit it to me. That's my email, direct email, caitlin.cgard@merriam.org. I need you to acknowledge the agenda that was issued. I did email it to you all, a link as well. And then for the RFP, as you know, this is not your first rodeo. We reserve the right to negotiate with any of you based on your responses. The general scope of services, obviously this is for trash, recycling, and yard waste services for all residential properties in Merriam. That is the base bid. Since you all read the RFP, of course, we do have a bid alternate removing those HOAs that we have. The base bid also is for weekly services for all 3 of the services. There is a bid alternate for seasonal yard waste as defined by you all, whatever that means for you all and your organizations. year-round pickup. All three services, this is throughout the whole bid, all three services must occur at one residence the same day. So you gotta pick up trash, recycling, and yard waste if yard waste is being picked up, all on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it is. The contract is gonna be a 5-year contract with options to renew. Obviously this is a negotiable term. Customer service, this may be unusual, but customer service is gonna be handled by the city of Merriam. That's something that's really important to our residents, so the city of Merriam is gonna handle the customer service, obviously having really direct contact with whomever we negotiate the contract with. There are penalties in the RFP for non-compliance with the scope of services, and you both can review those. Obviously, you need to be in compliance with the solid waste management plan in Johnson County, obtain licenses, insurance, make sure you're following our ordinances, etc. There's also collection timing restrictions outlined in the RFP specifically for our arterial streets. Make sure you review that before submitting your bid. The city of Merriam is the one who's going to own and maintain the list of residences and provide it to whomever holds the contract. Annually, whomever we negotiate the contract with is going to be required at their cost to do one annual public education notice as approved by the city of Merriam. Questions on that slide? Getting into solid waste specifically, there are going to be 3 bin sizes. This might have been confusing to everybody. The default bin size is going to be 65 gallons. There is going to be an option initially, if residents want a different bin size, they will contact the city of Merriam before bins are dispersed. Just contact the city of Merriam and say, I want a different bin size, either a 35 gallon bin or a 95 gallon bin. We will kind of manage that process and work with the hauler to see bin distribution and what that looks like. We just don't know what that process is going to look like exactly yet. So initially, they can opt for an alternative size. After the initial distribution, if residents want to, at 2 times per year maximum, change out their bins, they're going to work directly with you as the hauler for a bin change out. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. Overflow, you guys are familiar with overflow. We are limiting it to 1 bag per week. We want to make sure that we sell those at City Hall and the community center as well, so we'll do those over stickers. We also will do required, we're not really sure what this process is going to look like just yet, but house or garage side pickup and drop off of the bins for physically disabled residents. The city of Merriam will manage that process and communicate directly with the hauler. Again, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but you guys are probably familiar with some sort of process like that. Almost identical for recycling, other than there's obviously no limit for recycling for the county. Questions on either of those? Okay, easy. Other yard waste, compostable paper bags are appropriately bundled, not exceeding 4 feet in length, 18 inches, pretty standard. No single bag or one will exceed 60 pounds. That's kind of standard. White goods will be handled directly by resident and the hauler directly, direct bill. Any time the hauler is going to direct bill a resident in the city of Merriam, we want to be copied and CC it on that invoice just to make sure that everything's handled appropriately, and we're not going to allow picking drivers. Sorry, guys. We do have 5 bid alternates. The city of Merriam currently provides a number of these services. We know how much it costs us to do it in-house. We just want to see how much it's going to cost you all to do it as well, just to kind of compare those prices and see what it would look like for us. We want to mirror the programs as closely as we can. We understand they're not going to be identical, but links to all of these are on our city's website, and I think I even sent it in the email as well. But we do biannual large item pickup. I understand that you all probably do some sort of large item pickup within your services already, so you just need to explain that when you do your bid. I know some haulers do it monthly or quarterly. You all just need to explain what that looks like. Annual tree limb pickup. This is for items larger than just your normal yard waste. So the city of Merriam does that. Once a year we do a large really tree debris pickup, and then we also do holiday pickup after the first year. The 4th bid alternate is removal of HO waste from the bid. Again, we have 4. I gave you guys those numbers. You guys can figure that out on your own. And then we already talked about seasonal versus year-round yard waste pickup. Again, as defined by you as the hauler. Questions? Okay. There was a few questions on the addenda, particularly about the HOAs. It's going to be an initial opt-in program. All of them are kind of on their own contracts and situations, so it's going to be an initial opt-in. And then as their contracts run out, if they're not on the contract already, they can piggyback on whenever their contracts run out. A lot of them have actually just recently renewed, so they're gonna be 5+ years from now. But we're gonna let them do an initial opt-in. There was questions regarding the tree collection program, just kind of like specifically, what is that? Is it just the yard waste? Can it be considered the yard waste? Like I mentioned, we want to mirror our city's program. Please go look at our website. Please look exactly what that looks like, and make it appropriate for your bid. Tax exemption status, sorry, the bins are not tax exempt. They're not owned by the city of Merriam, they're owned by the hauler, sorry. And then submittal clarification, please electronic bids only, we're not gonna accept hard copy bids. Selection process, again, also outlined in RFP, section 4, there is a proposal ranking sheet. If, we don't know if bids are gonna come in at, we don't know what they're gonna look like. If you review section 4 of the RFP, the proposal ranking sheet does include more criteria than just cost. We're gonna look at it kind of holistically after everything I just explained to you. There's a lot of services that are very important to city Merriam residents, and we wanna make sure that we're encompassing everything that we intended with this RFP. So it is gonna be more based on more than just cost. Obviously, cost is gonna be a major factor, but if you review that proposal ranking sheet, you'll see kind of like where our review is gonna be. So, depending on how many of you bid, what it looks like, this is my first time going through this process. I know it's not yours. We could do interviews. It's gonna be up to that single hauler work group that we put together to develop this RFP. We could possibly do interviews. We could possibly not. Like I said, we have the right to negotiate any terms of any RFP response with any of you, or we could go through interviews if that's what the work group wants to do. As far as timeline, like I said, Valentine's Day. Hopefully you have everything done before then, so you can do something fun that day. The following week, I'm going to review the RFPs, make sure they're organized, make sure you guys fill out all the forms you need, summarize it, and I'm going to distribute it to the work group, so they'll have about a week to review it. Before we meet on the 24th, the work group's going to meet, discuss next steps. That is going to be a public meeting if you're interested in attending, 3 to 5 on the 24th. Depending on next steps, the month of March, we may do interviews, we may do negotiations. Again, it's just going to depend. I don't know what that's going to look like quite yet. At the 3/24 City Council meeting afterwards, we're going to have a work session with the City Council to review everything that's happened to date, from the very beginning of implementation all the way through what the bids look like, to summarize it for them, so they can just have all the information they need in order to make decisions tentatively on the 14th of February. So that's what that's going to look like. Again, we have to have 2 ordinance readings for our establishment of the program, so it'll be the 14th and the 28th of April. Fingers crossed, hopefully. That is all the information I have for you. What questions do you have for me?
Are the fines negotiable?
I'm sorry?
Are the fines negotiable?
Anything I would assume is negotiable, but
Because there's no warning prior to getting a fine.
you can write that in your bid if you'd like that to be the case.
Okay.
Other questions? None of you?
I mean, I typically have a million questions, so I'm pretty quiet today.
Okay.
So, I mean.
This is your last day for clarifying questions.
And as long, so the one bag, the bag tags are sold separately, just.
Yeah.
I think the Johnson County, management plan allows 95 gallon max, correct?
Yeah, there's a max on that, and we're just gonna allow one bag. And surely most of you already sell bag tags at Price Chopper, I don't know what you guys sell that. But we would want, again, we would want to sell here at City Hall and then actually the community center as well. Going once? Going twice? All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
We tried to get the person to talk fast.
Happy Friday.
Pretty well. Yes, sir, you too.
Bye, Tom. We'll see you.
I probably won't see you on the trail, Tom.
Probably not.
Did you know him before?
Yeah, I worked with him, he's a coworker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Didn't work directly with him, because he was in the water engineering part, I was in the environmental. We passed each other in the hallway. Yeah, I was on the guy's desk first. Wanted, well, he was showing us.
Yeah. But that's when we had to play.
Right.
Do not let that guy get away.
Yeah, no, he'll